Hey, this is Kurt from Iberian Pastures.
And I'm Jonah, the chef and owner of Huertas in New York.
So Iberian Pastures, as you guys might know, we're raising purebred Iberico pigs that my family brought over from Spain to a farm in Georgia, and we've partnered with one of the leaders in sustainable agriculture in Bluffton, Georgia. And we're gonna try and cook a few dishes for you guys here and kind of talk about, what it really means to be raising a long-standing European Spanish tradition in the US. What are your thoughts?
And as a Spanish restaurant in New York, it's exactly the sort of thing that we look for. We want to find ways in which we can harmoniously combine Spain and the US. And there's nothing more sacred in Spain than Iberico pigs, but having ones that are actually raised here in the US is a marriage that we couldn't have dreamed of when we opened the restaurant 6 years ago. So we're making today chorizo with white beans and spinach. One of the great things about buying sausage and cooking sausage is the work is already done for you. The work is grinding the meat, seasoning it, casing it. Once you've done all that, it's quite easy to cook it. So a hot pan, we're looking to really get a nice sear in the pan, and then we're gonna go in the oven to let the chorizo cook through. Once it comes out, we're taking the chorizo from the pan. So we're just gonna gently saute a bit of onion and garlic. Once they're tender, we're adding our spinach, wilting it just slightly. And then we cooked white beans, navy beans the day before. We soaked the dried beans and cooked them, which is always the best way, but frankly, lots of canned beans are really fantastic. So in the end, it's Iberico chorizo with white beans and spinach. So the method to make our bacon pan con tomate is we're doing the bacon in the oven, which is going to give us a bit more control. It's also great for cooking bacon for a large crowd. Spreading the bacon out on a sheet tray, a baking tray. That's going into the oven with our bread. Once the bread is done, we're scraping that with garlic. We've taken tomatoes, just slice them in half and run them along a box grater. We season that tomato with a little bit of salt, spoon the tomato over the bread, which has been rubbed with garlic, the bacon over that, and then finally a good spoon of the amazing rendered bacon fat. And then you have a perfect combination of Spain and the US, bacon pan con tomate. So with the presa steak, the most important thing to know is that these pigs are so special, so delicious that in Spanish butchering, they're taking the extra time to sort of extract cuts that we don't typically see here in the US. So we hit it aggressively with salt and pepper on both sides. In a quite hot pan, about 4 or 5 minutes on one side, and we're flipping it another 1 or 2. Halfway through the cooking, we added some red onion. Our finished dish is gonna have a sauce made with plum. Once it comes out of the pan, the onions come out together. They rest for a few minutes, and then just a nice streak of our plum sauce in the bottom, and slice the presa, a little bit of good salt over the top, and your onions. The finished dish is presa iberico with red onion, plum, and oregano. One of my favorite pasta sauces, and I love pasta, is amatriciana. Classically, it might be bucatini. We're using rigatoni today. So we render that out in a medium hot pan. We don't want to start too hot. We want to give it a chance for the fat to render. And as soon as it has given a nice amount of fat that it's coating the bottom of the pan, we're adding onions. So that's cooking down, swaying together. Our pasta is already going. The sauce should cook in about the same amount of time as the pasta, so something like 10 to 12 minutes. It's a really quick dish. So once our onions are relatively tender, we're adding a bit of chili flake, then the tomato, stirring it together briefly. Our pasta goes in. At that point, allowing the pasta to cook for another 30 seconds to a minute in the sauce, and just a little bit of pecorino to finish at the end, and we're good to go.